King Charles III has been coronated. He succeeded his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, who died in September last year. Young and old people from Britain, from around the world, thronged into London to witness the historic occasion today. Plenty of activities are still lined up, including the coronation concert at Windsor Castle with big stars. And the King and Queen earlier received a royal salute from no less than 4,000 armed service members. Let's take a look.
The parade will remove headdress. Remove headdress. Turn. 3 cheers for His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. The parade will replace headdress.
All right, there was the King receiving the royal salute and 3 cheers for the King and Queen. Let's discuss now with Professor Emeritus at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, Donal McCracken. Professor McCracken, thank you for being with us. Looking at that pageantry, I mean, even for Brits, regardless if they support the monarchy or not, was this a big moment for Britain that is struggling with the cost of living, tumultuous politics? The pageantry, was it a real source of national pride today, do you think?
Well, maybe because it's struggling with all those things that it is so important. It was an extraordinary day. It was a once-in-a-lifetime event, and who knows, we may not see it again, because you can have a monarch and a king without necessarily a coronation. The continental countries don't have coronations like we've just witnessed. It was a superb event, and it shows, you know, the British can do pageantry, they can do pomp, and they put on a show today which, you know, leaves the world standing. It's unequal what they produced. As you said, 4,000, 5,000 troops, meticulously trained in their dress uniforms. That alone, you know, is a spectacular, without the religious side of it and the abbey and what have you.
What do you think of South African? I mean, we weren't among any of the African countries that send soldiers. They were actually standing at the back of those visuals there. We were represented by a minister. But any comments on our involvement or non-involvement?
I think you can exaggerate, you know, this issue about foreign representation. The President of the United States didn't turn up. His wife and granddaughter came. This is a British event. And yes, heads of states do come, and particularly, you know, those that have personal links with the monarchy. But I think that it doesn't necessarily mean grand politics in its own right. This was an English affair. It was a British affair. And that, look, there were major problems. There are major issues surrounding this coronation. But I do not think that whether there were half a dozen soldiers present or not really is of great concern, frankly.
Yeah, and not to push the point, but obviously ahead of the coronation, there was talk again of the Cullinan diamond. I think it's in the scepter that the king received, which came from South Africa when we were under British rule. Some calls for that to be returned. In fact, we may have lost the professor because of load shedding, but Prof, if you can still hear us, are those calls valid for the return of the diamond for things like that? All right. Unfortunately, the professor did warn us that load shedding was taking place in his area. We were hoping we could get through that interview. Unfortunately not, but saying this was a moment, certainly for the UK today.